You're watching your cat curled up in a warm patch of sunlight. Everything is still. The room is quiet. The dust drifts slowly through a beam of golden light. Then suddenly one paw jerks. The whiskers tremble. The ears flick. Maybe the tail gives a tiny snap, like it's chasing something invisible in another world. And for a second, you wonder, is my cat dreaming? Is it seeing something? Feeling something? Reliving something? Or is that little sleeping body just reacting at random, like a candle flickering in a breeze you cannot feel? What if, at this very moment, your cat is not simply asleep, but somewhere else? Maybe stalking a bird through tall grass. Maybe leaping across rooftops under a moon only it can see. Maybe replaying the red dot it never caught, again and again with that endless feline patience. Maybe dreaming of you. Maybe dreaming of warmth, of milk, of the first hand that ever stroked its fur. Or maybe dreaming in a way so different from human experience that we can only stand beside it in awe, guessing at the edge of a mystery we may never fully enter. Because the question is not just whether cats dream. The deeper question is this: what does it feel like to be a cat inside a dream? Science gives us clues. Philosophy gives us wonder. And somewhere between twitching paws and silent brain activity, a hidden universe begins to appear. A universe that lives inside a creature that shares your home but not your mind. To understand what might be happening inside your sleeping cat, we need to start with something both humans and cats share. Sleep is not one simple state. It is not a switch that flips off. It is a layered journey, a slow descent through different rooms of the mind. In humans and in many mammals, sleep moves through stages. One of the most fascinating is REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, the stage most strongly associated with vivid dreaming. In this phase, the brain becomes surprisingly active, almost as if it is partially awake, while the body is largely held still by a protective paralysis that stops us from acting out our dreams. Cats also enter REM sleep. In fact, they spend a remarkable portion of their lives in this hidden, dreamlike chamber. And this is where the mystery gets interesting. When cats are in REM sleep, they may twitch their paws, flick their whiskers, make tiny mouth movements, or shift as if reacting to an unseen scene. Some let out small chirps or muffled meows. Some run in place, paws paddling against air. These movements are one of the reasons scientists believe cats, like other mammals, experience dream-like mental activity. We cannot ask a cat what it saw. There is no feline dream journal tucked beneath the couch cushion. But the patterns are too familiar to ignore. The sleeping brain is active. The body responds in fragments. Something is happening in there. And the strangest part is, your cat may not simply be resting. It may be remembering. One of the strongest ideas in dream science is called the continuity hypothesis, the idea that dreams are connected to waking life. In humans, our dreams often remix the emotional leftovers of the day. Places we went, fears we felt, faces we saw, memories we couldn't quite process while awake. Our minds, like quiet librarians, sort the day's pages while we sleep. If that principle applies to cats too, then their dreams may be woven from the same material as their daily lives. The windowsill where they watch the world. The hallway where they sprint at midnight. The toy mouse forgotten under the couch. The sound of birds beyond the glass. The scent of food from the kitchen. The rhythm of your footsteps coming home. The tension of a rival cat outside the window. And the strangest part is, your cat may not simply be resting. It may be remembering. One of the strongest ideas in dream science is called the continuity hypothesis, the idea that dreams are connected to waking life. In humans, our dreams often remix the emotional leftovers of the day. Places we went, fears we felt, faces we saw, memories we couldn't quite process while awake. Our minds, like quiet librarians, sort the day's pages while we sleep. If that principle applies to cats too, then their dreams may be woven from the same material as their daily lives. The windowsill where they watch the world. The hallway where they sprint at midnight. The toy mouse forgotten under the couch. The sound of birds beyond the glass. The scent of food from the kitchen. The rhythm of your footsteps coming home. The tension of a rival cat outside the window. In other words, your cat's dream may not be fantasy in the human sense. It may be memory, instinct, sensation, and imagination braided together into something deeply, unmistakably feline. And yes, that means your cat may dream of hunting. This idea is not just cute speculation. It has roots in one of the most famous sleep experiments in animal neuroscience. In the 20th century, the French neuroscientist Michel Jouvet studied REM sleep in cats. His work showed that specific areas of the brain help suppress muscle activity during dreaming. When those systems were carefully disrupted, cats in REM sleep began physically acting out dream-like behaviors. Stalking, pouncing, crouching, reacting as if prey were in front of them. Not random spasms. Not meaningless noise. Behavior with form, with purpose, with pattern. It was one of the clearest hints that the sleeping cat brain was not empty. It was staging something. Something rehearsed. Something alive. These findings became important far beyond cats. They helped scientists understand a human condition called REM sleep behavior disorder, where people physically act out their dreams because the normal muscle paralysis of REM sleep breaks down. So in a strange and profound way, sleeping cats helped reveal something about sleeping humans. Their dreams opened a door into ours. The line between species blurred for a moment, and through that blur came understanding. But even if science can show us that cats likely dream, it still cannot fully answer what those dreams are like from the inside. Science can describe the stage, cannot always read the play. And that is where philosophy enters the room. More than 2,000 years ago, Aristotle wrote that sleep belongs to animals because animals possess sense perception. Plants do not sleep in the same meaningful sense, because they do not perceive. But animals do. For Aristotle, sleep and waking were deeply tied to the life of sensation. Even in the ancient world, there was already an intuition that to be an animal was not merely to move, but to experience, to feel, to know in some quiet way that one is alive. Even in the ancient world, there was already an intuition that to be an animal was not merely to move, but to experience, to feel, to know in some quiet way that one is alive. Then came René Descartes, who changed the story in a colder direction. Descartes famously viewed animals more like intricate machines, complex automata without minds in the fully human sense. In that framework, a twitching cat might look alive, responsive, almost soulful, but inwardly empty. Motion without meaning, reaction without awareness, puppet of nerves with no audience inside. It is one of the most unsettling ideas in the history of philosophy. Because if Descartes were right, your cat's sleeping twitch would be no more mysterious than a clock ticking in the dark, a series of mechanical jerks signifying nothing. But most modern thinkers and many scientists no longer accept that view so easily. Charles Darwin later pushed humanity toward continuity rather than separation. He saw differences between humans and other animals not as absolute walls, but as differences of degree. If emotions, memory, attachment, and perception exist across species, then perhaps dreams do too. And in the 20th century, philosopher Thomas Nagel asked a question that changed the conversation forever. What is it like to be another creature? He used the example of a bat, but the idea reaches effortlessly toward the cat sleeping on your sofa. Nagel argued that even if we can study an animal from the outside, we may never fully know its subjective inner world from the inside. We can measure brain waves. We can observe sleep stages. We can compare behaviors. We can map neurons until our charts overflow. But we may still never know what catness feels like, especially in a dream. And maybe that is exactly what makes the question so beautiful. Because your cat's dream may be both familiar and unreachable, close enough to recognize, far enough to humble us. It may contain motion without language, emotion without narrative, sensory worlds richer in smell, touch, vibration, and instinct than our own dream life usually is. Some philosophers and researchers suggest that if cats dream, they likely dream on their own terms, not as furry little humans starring in human-style stories, but as cats, immersed in a world structured by feline priorities. A dream may not begin with, I am here and now this is happening. It may be a rush of scent, a flash of movement, the electric geometry of a hunt, the warmth of territory, the comfort of a trusted presence, the alarm of a shadow, the deep satisfaction of pursuit. Maybe your cat dreams in leaps. Maybe in sounds too soft for us to imagine. Maybe in whisker language. Maybe in smell, in entire landscapes painted by scent. And if dreams help process experience, then perhaps cats do in sleep what humans do in private thought. Sort, rehearse, replay, and survive. Perhaps every nap is a small library being reorganized. Perhaps every twitch is a page turning. There is even broader animal research that makes this idea harder to dismiss. Studies on sleeping rats have shown replay-like patterns in the brain, where neural activity during sleep resembles activity from waking experiences, as if the brain is running through parts of the day again like a quiet film. That work was not done on cats, and we should be careful not to overstate it. But it strengthens the case that mammalian sleep is not passive shutdown. It is active internal life. A sleeping animal may be doing more than resting. It may be remembering how to live. So when your cat's paws begin paddling in sleep, you may be witnessing something intimate, the private rehearsal of a mind, a theater whose only audience is the dreamer. Of course, not every twitch means a dramatic dream sequence. Bodies move in sleep, muscles relax, nerves fire. Small motions can be perfectly normal, but repeated whisker flicks, running motions, muffled sounds, and that unmistakable look of inner engagement often align with the idea of dream activity during REM. And in healthy cats, that is usually no cause for alarm. In fact, it may be a sign that the brain is doing exactly what brains evolved to do, to process, to reset, to preserve experience. And maybe that is where cats and humans meet most deeply. Not in language, not in logic, not in shared words or shared faces, but in vulnerability. Every night, both species surrender control. Both enter darkness. Both trust the body to keep breathing and the mind to travel somewhere invisible. We lie still, yet inside we move. We leave the world, and somehow return to it changed. Your cat does the same. It folds itself into a small warm shape, closes its eyes, and crosses a border that no human can follow. Your cat may never tell you what it saw in sleep. It will wake, stretch, blink slowly, and walk away with the ancient dignity of a creature that owes no explanation. But perhaps that silence is part of the wonder. Not every mind has to become understandable to be real. Not every inner world must be translated to deserve respect. Some mysteries are gifts precisely because they remain mysteries. A twitching cat is a small philosophical event. It challenges the old human habit of standing at the center of consciousness and assuming every other creature is a lesser echo. It reminds us that awareness may exist all around us in forms we do not own and cannot fully imagine. Behind those closed eyelids may be fear, memory, instinct, pleasure, curiosity, even a kind of dreaming selfhood. A small soul moving through a private night. So, do cats dream like humans? Maybe not exactly. Maybe not in words, not in human images, not in the narrative shape we know. But in a deeper sense, perhaps yes. They may dream as mammals dream, through REM sleep, so the next time your cat twitches in sleep, don't just smile and move on. Don't reduce that small motion to nothing. Pause. Look closely. That tiny flick of the paw may be a chase across imaginary grass. That whisper in the whiskers may be a memory of warmth, of safety, of you. That sudden ear twitch may be a distant sound in a world only your cat can hear. And for one breathtaking moment on your couch under your roof beside your ordinary life, another mind may be wandering through its own secret midnight universe. A universe that belongs entirely to your cat and to no one else. Still, silent, dreaming.